everybody, and welcome to the gigantic Unleashed interview of Christin Marizel Overton. I am Tim Darius Slager with Patrick Bazile. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you said it right.
Fantastic. He's got a last name, too. Cannon, right? It's Cannon.
Yes.
Patrick Cannon. So we are joined by the fabulous Christin Overton, who is the, as I said, senior producer at Motiga, working on Gigantic. Good evening, Christine.
Call me Christine, and I'm not answering you.
Christin! I said
Thank
Christin.
you.
It was the
No,
internet.
No, you said Christine.
The internet broke it.
Where?
The internet broke it.
All right, one more time, Tim. Try it again.
Good evening, Christin. Welcome.
Good evening, Tim.
Unleashed.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi.
Deal.
How is it going?
It's going well.
That's good.
very
That's,
well.
I was reading chat and I heard my name and I was like, hi. For some reason, I forgot we were doing this. My brain just kind of went.
Yeah, we're live. The
okay.
internet
This
is
is
through
not
there.
I appreciate that.
Hi, internet.
Hi, Internet. How are you?
Hi, interwebs.
Interwebs. How are
internet.
you?
So, I'm so very, very, very glad that you could take some time off from your very busy day of coffee and producing. You have coffee with you, don't you? See,
Of course I do. Very important.
I have water. It's like 9 o'clock here, so it's what, 6
The
o'clock there?
lifeblood. Yes,
I have
lifeblood
water,
of
too.
production. Caffeine.
So,
Actually, one of the things I do as a producer is monitor the caffeine and the chocolate intake of the team,
That's
because
terrifying.
it is a direct indicator of how stressed the team is working and how much they're working.
So does that mean like Greg gets like 14 pots of coffee a day?
He makes quite a bit. He's usually the first one to make coffee in the morning.
he said he no longer makes coffee.
He doesn't have to. We have a cool new coffee maker thing that everybody gets their custom coffee. It's pretty cool.
Really?
But yeah, every once in a while we still make pots of coffee. But it used to in the old space, he would be the one to make the first pots of coffee and often make 4 pots, 1 decaf and high octane in the rest.
He would name them after people, too, which I thought was pretty cool.
Sometimes he'd name them. Sometimes they'd just be really obnoxious.
We didn't get to see the really obnoxious ones, did we?
Oh, somebody made a pot this week and they put coffee Post-its all over it. They just put the word coffee on all these pink Post-its and labeled the whole jug.
Did his coffee.
Okay. Exactly. Just in case you didn't get that was the coffee.
I heard somebody snicker in the background.
That was David.
Oh, hi, David.
David.
So, and she gets
Thanks,
attacked.
David.
It starts early. Is this a result
Yeah,
of
it's
Scotch
just started.
Fridays?
I don't know. It could be a carryover from Scotch
Monday?
Fridays, or it's just could be just abuse the producer Monday. Heck, I don't know.
No.
With that.
You say
Oh,
no.
I gotta. Oh, that was pathetic. Oh well.
We
that
need
was-
to see these
that was
things on
sad.
cam when you do that.
He's on that. Oh,
Put your hand
No
close to the camera and then take it. There it goes. Yay.
oh, look at that.
Now we
Cool
have your
toys.
fingerprints.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know what you knew with them.
nothing. So let's get to it. What is
All right,
it
let's
like?
make this happen.
Prepared?
How did you get your start in the gaming industry?
Wow. How did I get my start? Well, it's kind of a odd turn of events. I was playing Ultima Online. My husband dragged me into, and he said, "Oh, you should try this thing." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And so I started playing it on the Napa Valley server, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
And along the way, I got pulled into this event called the Napa Revolution, where we were protesting the absence of our king. And we had, this is back when Ultima Online had no online events. There was nothing happening.
Right.
So the players got together and tried to come up with some really cool stuff. And I ended up falling in with this group who was doing some really cool stuff with that. And lo and behold, most of them lived here in Seattle. And so eventually people slowly peeled off, and I was one of the sole remaining survivors of the event, and ran 3 online battles with the help of the GMs from UO, and got their attention, and they asked me to be a seer. And I started doing events on the Napa Valley server, and then helped with the Pacific server as well. And we had so much fun, it kind of convinced me, like, this is what I want to do. I've been a project manager software person for quite a while, working on those little programs called like Internet Explorer and Office.
So you're
This is so much more fun.
Never
No,
heard of them.
this is before the current versions, only up into
Oh.
IE5. You know, when it actually still did something well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
So
then
are you the reason that Microsoft Sam is gone?
Sam.
The little paperclip?
Oh, Clippy.
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 Clippy was the most annoying thing in the world.
He was
Yeah,
the
I was
Jar
actually-
Jar of the internet, and he was awesome.
That's why I hated him.
The
Yeah, I was
Olaf.
actually working on Office when Clippy was around. Yeah. Oh gosh. Should I tell him now, Patrick?
Go ahead.
Okay. Tim, I have never seen Frozen
A lot of people haven't.
ever, and I may never.
That's not true.
Well, okay, so why haven't you ever seen Frozen? It is a really cute movie.
It just hasn't been on my to-do list.
Actually,
That's fair.
I knew you were going to say that, so I've queued up the movie. And for the next hour and a half, we're going to sit here and watch it together.
I'm sorry, Internet. I didn't mean to do that to you. I was hoping that Tim would freak out, but it didn't work.
No. I assumed
well.
that much
Next
when you threatened me earlier.
Oh, crap. All right, next time I know better.
I'm wise. Plus, I have a list of everyone who hasn't seen it.
Wow.
That scares me.
It
How
does.
long is the list?
17 pages.
What?
That's all?
Yeah. It's a short
Okay.
list. Be exclusive.
I'm on it.
It's in
Are
2
you-
font, though.
No. Okay, so my next question is your list on an 8x5 floppy? Because no one
It's
got there. Okay,
It's on an 100 mega iOmega zip zip
never
drive.
mind.
Perfect.
That
It's
joke.
on
was
magnetic tape.
That joke was from The Big Bang Theory. Never mind. So no one got the
All right,
reference.
moving on.
I'm sad.
Well, it all started with a big bang. Hey. So,
Hey.
So you were a seer. I missed.
I
the
was a
days of
seer.
UO. You know, about an hour ago, I was playing UO.
I actually still have my account. Is that scary?
I've actually been handing out
So,
million gold checks to people that just started playing because I have a ton of money and I don't.
that's funny.
So
I haven't
I,
played that game in years. Oh my gosh.
Well, the funny thing about it was I was actually working at Microsoft at the same time. I was working on all the stuff in UO and kind of fell in love with the game space at that point. And so shortly after that, I decided to take off from being a full-time misfit, Microsofty, and went and stayed home with my kids for the summers and actually worked as a contractor for 9 months and then would take the summer off for 3 months. And so as I was contracting at Microsoft, I knew I wanted to go in the game space. I started taking contracts that would kind of expand the toolbox. So I took everything from helping build beta programs for Windows and Exchange to working at Microsoft Casual Games. I was hired to be one of their website managers, and within 2 weeks, they're like, "Hey, wait, you know project management stuff? Will you will you be our external producer for the Vista Casual titles?" And I was like, all of a sudden, I went from working on website stuff to running 8 different game projects for 6 different companies.
I missed the zone.
And I found I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And so I got some great opportunities through my network and connected it on a small project that didn't work. But the next time they spun up a studio, they called me and said, "Hey, we'd love for you to be a producer for us." And I was blessed to do that at the Amazing Society and was their producer for 4 years. So now I've been doing this production gig for about 8 years now, actually.
Wow.
Has it been
That's really
production
cool.
the whole time?
Yeah, it has been production. We had kind of alluded to earlier that a producer is, one of those kind of crazy roles where jack of all trades, and I said master of some, because I've actually been a web developer in my past. I've actually done I've taught art for a while, so I have a lot of broad skills that make it work really well because I know enough. One of the funny things is one of the teams I used to work with was a bunch of engineers, and they were like, "Yeah, you know just enough to call bullshit on us."
That's important.
It is, because I built databases and I wrote websites and I did a whole bunch of stuff when we were on Strags together, Tim, and so I knew,
Right.
and it was just enough to be technology and techie savvy and how the engineers work to be able to work well with them when I do. So, and I do that very often here.
Does that translate to gigantic and an individual? It's a completely new IP, so
Right.
you don't have a window to work in. This is kind of a new horizon for you, right? You don't have the structure or this pre-established definition of what they're looking for. You guys are the ones that are striving for what you want. And Zappa wants to know if you want to do a C++ homework.
No, thank you though. Do your own work. My job is to just check it off and make sure you got it done on time.
She's the teacher.
I don't know about that. The
Teacher's
the
assistant.
the ringmaster.
The ringmaster.
Yes, making sure all the shows come on and out of the rings at the right time and everybody gets it done. Yeah,
That sounds like a producer.
it does, doesn't it?
Weird.
Imagine that.
Hey.
Except the poor ringmaster doesn't have spreadsheets and specs and all that other stuff.
No, he gets a whip.
Oh, actually, you'll get a kick out of this one. When I was at my old studio, because we worked on a title called Marvel Superhero Squad, we had this really fun process where you got your hero name, your superhero name, but the one rule was you could not give yourself your own superhero name. Somebody else had to give you your name, right? So my superhero name was the Coordinatrix. And my weapon, the Coordinatrix, and my weapon of choice was a whip made out of Post-it notes.
That seems extremely painful with paper cuts considered.
Exactly.
Yeah, that does seem painful.
Oh
My headphones got out there, and all I heard was whip made out of paper notes, and I'm okay with that.
Oh my! Are they written
It was
on?
pretty sad. They didn't have to be.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just curious if it's like a
Whenever
production thing too.
Well, Post-it notes. You should see all the different kinds of Post-it notes I have in my desk.
Production notes.
Production notes. The production Post-it notes. Lots of different sizes.
We gave Troy I guess a superhero name, the Communicorn.
Maybe I should have waited to take that drink.
Sorry.
Wow.
So yeah, we call him the
Terrifying.
Communicorn. So
The Communicorn.
yeah,
Fits.
it does.
It does fit.
It does fit
It does
indeed.
fit.
So what would you say then at Motiga? And obviously you guys have been. How long have you been at Motiga now?
Let's see, a year and 2 months, I think.
Okay, so July of last year.
July of last year.
A year and 2 months.
So September was we're almost in November.
I suppose it's subjective.
Apparently, math is hard, so
Yeah, I guess Tim doesn't do math well after
I was
6 o'clock at night.
Whatever. I'm going to bed.
bye.
Yeah, so I started in right after PAX last year.
Okay.
So PAX is my anniversary with Motiga. You have a
Nice.
sharp implement there, Tim. Put that down.
Oh. I didn't realize. Sorry, I've got
So
this
I'm
one.
coming up. So November 1st is like my 1 year and 2 month
Oh.
See,
anniversary.
Tim, you play with sharp objects. I just play with trading cards, so it's
All right, fine. Let's kick it back to the 90s.
Oh gosh.
A hacky sack.
oh my gosh.
This is Troy's desk. You do not want me to touch things here.
No, don't,
Please don't.
Don't.
What about Squiggly, or what's his name? The worm?
Squiggly. Oh,
Squigwort?
the weird
The
slug?
slug.
looking thing?
Slug.
What?
yes, the things that are on Tim's desk. Some things you probably shouldn't be touched.
I don't have a desk.
Where's it been?
You wanna know.
So you've been there since July of last year. We'll just go based on that.
So since September of last year, thank you.
September of last year. I'm sure. You know what?
Way to listen.
How has the studio changed in that short period of time from what it
Oh my
was to what
gosh.
it is now?
Well, let's see. We just hit 80 employees.
That's
And I
not
was-
allowed. You really shouldn't
No.
hit people.
I was number 26.
Wow. Okay.
So that shows you how much we've grown in that year
It's like
or
102
so.
new people.
Boy, he does have problems with math, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, he
My
does.
wife does all the adding.
So yeah, it's been crazy how much we've grown. A lot of the core team, the art team especially, is still pretty much the same, but a lot of the supporting team around them and the engineers has grown a lot. Got a lot more specialists added to the team to help us with the Unreal Engine and growing out our platform and network operations teams and that type of stuff, as well as our live ops teams have really grown since I've been here.
So you guys and David just came on board.
And David's been here for a short time, yes.
Yep. And he's the newest.
No, he's not the newest. Let's see, who's the newest? Actually, one of the newest. And this will get you because you may not even heard this. We have another producer on the team.
Uh-oh.
Yes, so Gavin has joined us as
Gavin
an
Rosdale?
additional senior producer. No, his name is Gavin Carter.
Oh.
he hasn't had his bio done for the website yet. That'll come in time. But he's been with us a week today, actually.
Oh, wow. That's
Nice,
awesome.
very cool.
So
Hi,
yeah.
Gavin.
So Gavin has joined the family, and so looking
he's
forward
the
to
NG, the new Gavin or new guy.
the new guy. So he'll be settling in for a while. Right now we have his brain very full.
And that's cool. I
It's
have
been
a
a lot to
question
learn.
for you. What was your favorite game growing up as a kid? Not online, like single player based.
Oh man, single. Can it be multiplayer but a different
Yes.
format?
Mhm.
Kick the can.
I'm-
Seriously,
What?
kick the can. Do you ever play kick the can?
Oh, like going
Yes,
outside.
exactly. The outside thing.
Yes.
We used to have. I mean,
Yeah.
I grew up in a little town in Vermont. Need to say, you had to make your own entertainment opportunities. And so, a lot of things that we did were like, hey, you find a spare can, guess what? The game's on. Of course, it was a combination of hide and seek and kick the can and,
Don't get hit by the can.
don't get caught. I used to play that with my cousins. I used to do that all the time.
You guys should
Like, I
put an
know, it's like-
homage to that in the game.
An homage to that.
Yeah, put a can
Oh.
that you kick.
I'm good. I just smelled water in the wrong pipe.
But if I would actually pick a real game, with board game, probably, what would it be? Settlers of Catan.
I haven't played that ever in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
We used to
I
play
played it
that.
once.
To play that so much with my kids. We actually had travelers editions in both cars
Really?
Oh wow.
because
That's-
we'd sit there and play it while we were waiting for dinner to come in the restaurant, and it was small enough where we could actually play the game and keep the kids entertained.
Bye, everybody.
Nice.
I think
Bye, guys.
Kathy just left. That was Kathy, wasn't it? Our girl?
Katie.
Katie.
Yep.
I mix up people's names, right, Christine? I'm dead,
Yes,
aren't
Mud. What was your name again? What was this? What was
Mud Pie.
Mud. Mud Pie.
Hi. That is Tim's new nickname is Mud.
Mud Pie?
Mud
Okay,
Pie.
Mud Pie.
That's fine. That's my superhero name. And I'll hit you with.
Yeah, so we
post-it notes.
played Settlers of Catan. Of course, my husband always beat the crap out of us all until eventually we started strategizing against him, and then he started losing all the time.
That's awesome.
We hadn't even got the 3D board, with the map, the big 3D pieces and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty serious in our house.
That sounds. I played it twice in my life and was like, okay, that was a fun game. And seems like you guys played it like.
We played it a lot.
Was
We
it like
played it a lot.
a weekly thing, or did you guys do like?
When the kids were growing up, we had family night once a week.
Nice, that's cool.
And the date night once a week and family night once a week. So the kids never felt left out. And when we were young and the kids, the rule was that on date night, we had a 3-story house. We had a basement downstairs, and the rule was mom and dad would have a date night. We'd go grab takeout in a movie or whatever. And the rule was as long as everybody was breathing, nobody was bleeding, and nothing was burning, you didn't come downstairs.
Breathing,
give mom and
bleeding,
dad-
and burning.
Burning, exactly.
Nice.
The 3 Bs. So when they came downstairs, it was like, there's something wrong, Mom. Okay.
we lost
Yeah. I mean,
Somebody
and as
was
we-
bleeding while on fire.
The cool thing about it was as we got older and they got busy and stuff, they're like, Mom, Dad, you haven't gone out for date night. Go out for date night, right? And then they're like, we were doing the family night thing for a long time, and then they got older and they're like, hey, we haven't done family night. Let's play board games.
That's cool.
So
Nice.
we would play board games, and the kids would, since we had 2 kids, one would pick the activity, the other one picked the meal.
Nice.
So we always got to share it. Sometimes it would be a movie, sometimes it would be a board game. You never know.
My kids
I
can
would
play
always want to pick
gigantic.
the meal because I care more about food than I should.
I need to stop caring about food. I was talking earlier on when I was at the gym and we were talking about the interview, and I regret that picture now that I looked back at it. So
Yes.
I hope you.
Tim
delete
was
that.
trying to convince me that he was really excited about this interview, and I was not buying it. So he sent a really creepy picture. I still didn't buy it.
You should probably delete it though. Let's,
Okay.
yeah.
So out of context, that sounds horrible.
It It was a very
Tim was excited, so he sent you a creepy picture. That's just not good.
That's fine.
Well, I was teasing him that because he was not enthusiastic enough about the interview tonight, that I was going to cancel, and Troy said I could if he wasn't, I was like, dude, you've been waiting for this interview for a year.
Troy's a butthead. So, for some extra context, though, Christin and I worked at Stratix back in before
Long
now.
enough ago, way before now.
Before now, not in the past 2 decades. How's that? That makes it sound way worse.
Yeah, it makes
Oh God, you're not helping me.
Nice job.
It's been a while, couple days.
At least.
At least. So we've known each other for a little while.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of familiarity.
Yes, there is.
And so nothing is weird to us as much as it is to you guys.
Hey, this is going on the internet. They've seen a lot more weird than that.
Yes. So let's
All
get
right.
back to you.
Back to Motiga and Gigantic and
Yes.
stuff.
I feel like the third wheel in this conversation right now.
Well, I want to jump to a piece of paper that you have because we're almost to the midway point of this, and you said you had some stuff that you could share.
I do have something I can share.
How many stuffs?
How many stuffs? Well, a couple of stuffs.
Okay, so let's do one of the stuffs, and then we'll do one in a little bit, and then one a little bit later.
Stuffs. Okay, the first stuff. Motiga will be showcasing Gigantic at PAX South in January.
Sweet.
So you'll get your next attempt, a trial, stand in line, salivating over the next new elements. And Gigantic, yes.
So there will be new elements too.
There will be
new
exciting new stuff.
Element hero confirmed. Yes.
Elements.
Oh.
Yes. We haven't got everything sorted out yet, but yes, there will be new and cool things to see in Gigantic in January at PAX South.
Is it going to be
wait.
a gigantic showing?
Let's hope so.
Are
Whether
you guys going to have
a lot of
booth?
people show up or not, guess what? It'll be a gigantic showing.
Well, yeah, because PAX South is their first PAX South that they're doing, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, yep.
January 23rd, 24th, and 25th in San Antonio.
Yep.
Where's this being held at?
San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio.
Oh my gosh, I've been there before.
I saw it on a map once.
So yeah, it'll let's see, that means it'll be since September when we showed the game at PAX Prime, that'll be almost 6 months. The game's come a long way.
That's awesome.
It'll be some really cool stuff for you guys to see and play with.
That's
I'm
awesome.
excited.
So
And I think,
So,
badges
my
are
goal
still
is that
available.
once again at PAX South, we get a dedicated enforcer. That was actually one of my pride and joy events when our line was so long that the enforcers had to cap the line every time to keep it safe for others.
And
That's
you guys
awesome.
weren't even actually on the show floor either.
No, we weren't on the show floor. We were in the land space.
That says a lot. That's awesome.
So yeah, each day the line got a little bit longer and started invading to other places, and so
That's
eventually by Monday they said, okay, enough of this, and they dedicated us an enforcer to our line.
Do you remember the line at the announcement party where it wound around this?
It was
chaotic as hell.
I don't have to remember the line of the. I was manning the door.
Yeah. That was
The things that I get stuck doing, I don't know. So one of the hardest parts of that event was the fact that not only did I man the door, I had to take IDs.
Ooh.
So you want to talk about putting your job at risk? I had to card my CEO and my CTO. I'm
That's
serious.
amazing.
And
Wow.
basically what happened was that the owner of the FK Tavern where we had the event said that in order for me to man the door, the bartender had to trust that I had checked IDs.
Okay.
So since she wasn't going to be physically checking them, it was kind of part of the helping their business stay safe. So they were like, this is what you had to do if you're going to do this. Otherwise, one of my staff will have to be there. So
Okay.
it was just, and of course, right after I got the lesson who box in, I'm like, oh
dang.
man.
Hi, I'm my boss. You can
Now-
call me at any moment, but I need your
now-
ID.
Now, the funnier part of this is I also had to card my husband and my son. Yeah. Like, I don't know my son's birthday, right?
I'm glad I made it in before that then. 'Cause we
Yes,
we
it
got
was-
there at like 8 a.m. and they didn't card us until like 2.
But later we had to come around and do all that stuff. But yeah, it was pretty
You look
trippy.
way older than 21, so
I'm 19.
Yeah, okay. They
I've
handle
been
more
growing
sleep.
this
Yeah, that's
for 19
No.
years.
ridiculous. By
I'm
the way.
celebrating the anniversary of my 21st birthday.
Congratulations. I
Congratulations.
got you
How about the Motiga
chiplet.
cup? I need another one.
It's
Wait.
still in the plastic.
It is still. Oh my! That I'm not
I have
sure
two
whether
of
to
them.
be a.
I
Oh,
have a
there you
huge
go.
McDonald glass. Is that a cool birthday present?
I have my coffee mug of.
I
You
have my Motiga coffee mug. I can give that to you.
I don't have anything.
I already have
Motiga,
one.
So there.
Tim,
I
you're a
need a blanket.
slacker. It's in the mail. I hear it's in the mail.
Okay.
Tim, is that right?
Yes.
You,
yes.
Patrick's stuff is in the
yes.
mail. He's
All
faxing it to you.
All the paxing.
He's
Paxing.
faxing it to me?
Faxing. Get your 3D printer ready.
Okay, let me plug it in.
See, I'm still waiting for my Motiga blanket.
Well, that one you have to be a Motiga employee. Sorry.
Wait, you guys get blankets?
That was our amazing Christmas gift last year.
Awesome.
Yes, we have a snuggly Motiga blanket.
That's
So-
awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
This year, they need to get everyone a snuggle that has the Motiga dinosaur on it. You know what a snuggle
Actually-
is, Tim?
Actually, what I want is a hat where you flip up the thing, the Motiga's on either direction,
Right.
That would be
or
that
a
would be
scarf,
fantastic.
depending on where you throw it. The Motiga logo shows up correctly.
That's awesome.
That's what I asked for. I don't know if we'll get one. We'll have to see what Santa says.
You guys should get, you know those giant sumo suits are like the blow up. You guys should get like the giant like Motiga-esque versions of the sumo suits and have people wrestle in those. That would be amazing.
So we make it look like the little Motigas in the
Right.
game.
It's amazing.
Except that means your like arms are gonna be like.
That's okay. Well, have you ever put on one of those sumo suits? It's like that.
No,
anyways.
I've witnessed them, but I have not actually worn one myself.
It's kind of
Thanks,
like
though.
this, anyways. So it's
They're actually really comfortable because they have all these fans. They have to keep them like blown up, so you're actually really comfortable.
except for the fact that you're wearing a giant 40-pound ball.
Oh, those. I was thinking about just the. Never mind.
So let's get back to
All right.
Motiga.
Motiga.
So you guys will be at PAX. Are you guys going to be
Yes.
outside of the show floor, or are you guys actually going to have a booth?
You're just gonna have to stay tuned. They're much like we did for PAX Prime. Wow, whoa, the picture just changed. I just got washed out. Like Troy's. I don't even know how to do
Is
this.
that Troy's background of me again?
It's like, oh, hold on a second. That's better. Is so just like we did for PAX Prime. Keep an eye on the website. We're gonna be talking about all the cool and new, and Troy was giving me a rundown of some of the cool stuff they're going to be trying to do for PAX Health. So you guys should be very
Well,
happy.
he's not here, so you could share away.
He gave me the list of the things I could say,
Oh, okay.
and he said I could tease you guys about stuff, but that's it.
Fair enough.
Said there's things like awesome new stuff.
Oh,
Can't wait to tell you.
awesome news.
I'm serious. That's actually right. Yeah. So if you're in Texas or love Texas or just love like Gigantic and want to fly to Texas, these are his words. Make sure you get yourself to the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, January 23rd to the 25th.
All right. Duly noted.
Partying with the staff and stuff again. So
So you know what we should do is reconvene on Scotch Friday and talk about this stuff about an hour and a half into Scotch Friday.
I like that idea.
well, I don't drink scotch, so I'm
I
not,
know.
not sure what we're gonna be. But last time I actually, hey David, he didn't. I put it in my barbecue sauce. That's bad. But the rum that I had that night was very, very yummy. I do.
Hi, Joe.
I just got fired, so I gotta go. Bye, guys. Joe just fired me. I'm out of here. I appreciate good scotch in a different way.
Hey, as long as you appreciate Scotch.
I do.
So
It adds a very wonderful smoky flavor to my
a
barbecue
smoky.
sauce.
I love smoky flavors. Like smoked barbecue is just amazing. But I digress.
You did digress.
What is your favorite part of working at Motiga?
Not Joe firing me.
Understandable.
What's my favorite part? Do I have to pick one?
Yes.
The people. Has
Good
to be
answer.
the people.
Which one
The
would you
people.
vote the least favorite version? It can be Joe.
Hey now.
He can't. If you nod and smile, he won't know that you're saying yes. That was definitely a Troy look.
Well, I'd sit close enough to. This is where he sits, and I can see him from right where I And one of the funny things where I actually have a standing desk, so I stand most of the time.
No.
And one of the important things when I was figuring kind of where I was going to stand, I was like looking around to see who I could actually shoot without them seeing me. And Troy was like perfect.
Wow. To be honest, that would be the first thing I would scope out to in an office like that. Find all the best spots.
Well, as a producer, I'm kind of like right in the middle of the floor.
Nice.
So I'm always constantly seeing what's going on.
Do you have a ladder to look over? And...
They joke that I don't spend that much time at my desk. So I'm usually running around like a maniac. So often I come back and I'll be like, hey, what's going on? People are like, just camp in your spawn point. Hoping I'll return.
Oh, darn.
Patrick, you wanted to ask something?
I did?
I don't know. When I started talking, you were like, I'm watching.
Dude, this is your interview. I'm just here to make the jokes and smile.
Waiting.
He's the eye candy, Tim. Come on.
Oh, hey, girl. I'm going to go and bleach my eyes.
I'll never do that again. That was
Please
That was
don't.
weird.
that was weird.
And you can't blame it on alcohol. All you have is water, or maybe it's not water.
Water.
It's pure vodka.
Okay, no. I actually have a couple questions. As far as like your role at Motiga, what's been the most surprising task that you've been like in charge of, or I mean, like you talked about the door task. So that's definitely kind of out there, but like, what's been the most kind of out of the door kind of task that you've done that you're allowed to talk about, of course?
Well, I also ended up managing the party bus at PAX Prime. How was that one that was a blast, actually. I had so much fun meeting all the fans of Gigantic. So
now the party bus, is that the like VIP thing that you guys had secretly?
No.
Okay.
This was actually our opening night. We had a party at a local tavern, and we actually had a bus making rounds back and forth to the convention center.
Nice.
That everybody would be safe. And so I ended up manning the party bus, and it was actually kind of funny because I ended up everyone's like, hey, there's no music. So I'm like looking through my phone. It's like, let's find, how about Guardians of the Galaxy as the soundtrack for the party bus? And of course that was fine until we were going the other direction and people wanted something a little bit different after they had too much to drink. But everybody got home safely, and it was just a riot. We had so much fun. There was actually a pole in the back of the party bus. And so people were actually pole dancing. There were not that many pictures. Trust me, I thought it was safer. There were a couple, but not too many.
Please tell me Troll actually tried it once.
Troy didn't. Troll?
Troll.
Troy the troll? Is that what you're saying?
Troy.
No, I don't think Troy actually had time to get on the party bus that night, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so it was after a long day on the show floor. Trust me, sitting around on the party bus, driving around in circles was a pretty nice way to rest my feet. Wasn't as bad of a job as you'd think.
PAX is terrible for feet.
And I worked all 4 days, so there were some pretty massively long days. So
yeah, I did that.
Dr. Scholes.
I mean, I absolutely loved it. It was so energizing to talk to all the fans, and eventually, by the time I'd been there the fourth day, I'm like, how many times have you been in this line? And sometimes like 6.
47. I may have a problem.
And knowing that that line was like an hour and a half wait at some points, it was like, holy crap, I can't believe you did that 6 times.
Did you guys have anything to do in the line?
What do you mean to do in the line?
Like line entertainment?
We didn't. I'm hoping that we make that much better at PAX South, because I think it would have been really fun to actually like pick, because we had 2 matches going on at the same time. To pick one of them when they sat down and actually do kind of a commentary about what was going on. I did that the first day I was there. The problem was I started losing my voice. So I would talk really, really loud when I was coaching the group that I was coaching, and talk about what they were doing so that the audience in the line could actually start to understand how the game would work before they ever sat down to play, since it was the first day.
Right.
And we all were like, oh, shoot, we should have thought of that, huh? That would have been awesome to just have somebody with a mic and be able to talk normally as they're coaching, saying, hey, check that out, and talk about the UI and what it was doing and what it meant. And so we started doing that later. I think towards the end of the second day, we put it up on a monitor nearby, and that would have been really fun. But instead, what I do is I'd walk the line, and people would pull me aside and say, hey, what? Tell me about your game. And by the time we got to Monday, the 4th day, people were like, I don't know anything about your game. My friends told me I had to come and play before you guys closed down. What is this game and how do you play?
That's awesome.
So I spent a lot more time that last day just saying, oh, this is what it is. And they're like, oh, we'll stay in the line. I was like, okay.
Nice.
One of the things
That's
I
pretty
learned
fun.
about PAX, and this is going to be super gross, but you don't realize how much you sweat until you get back to your hotel room. Because you just, throughout the whole day, you're just
How much?
go. You sweat. I sweat. Anybody sweats. Humans sweat. You sweat.
Uh-oh. No. Hi, David.
Hi.
Hi, David.
I
you,
thought that
David.
was a gigantic
David.
polo. Oh,
What?
I thought he was wearing a gigantic polo. I was like,
A gigantic polo? That'd be kind of creepy.
that'd be awesome.
Be
Not like
awesome.
a large
What are you
polo, but
talking
a
about?
polo with a
little more-
gigantic logo.
Oh, an embroidered gigantic logo. That would be
Yes,
kind of cool.
That would be awesome.
So one thing we need is gigantic headphones.
Mine are huge.
Yeah.
No, they say gigantic on them because I.
I get it.
So, what did you, besides the, obviously, we just discussed about PAX, what did you guys learn from PAX Prime that you want to do differently, obviously, besides the coaching bit at PAX South? Like, what is the one main goal?
Well, the main goal, get as many people to play our game as possible.
It's a good goal.
I mean, one of the challenges was that we'd get all the games going, and we couldn't, because of the way Gigantic moves in terms of the action. You're never quite sure. Well, it's gonna last approximately a half an hour, but sometimes that can be 10 minutes, and sometimes it can be a half an hour. And it was kind of fun because as you watched people who kept coming back day after day while they were playing, you just slowly watch those guys play together as a team better and know what the triggers were, and the games what they were in would get shorter, right? And then we had this one group who played together a number of times. I can remember because by the time they came back on Monday, they were swagged out. They had their Gigantic t-shirts on. They had their Yowies on, which are these fun scarves. And I mean, they were totally covered in Gigantic blue, right? And one of them came off as a group of playing their match, and they were like so excited, and I was doing the line monitoring, and I'm like, did you guys win? They go, no, but we had a blast. I'm like, they were cheering for the other team. They were so excited that they got beat well, but they were excited, and then they ran around and got back in line. I was like, that's just awesome.
That means you guys have a good thing going.
Exactly. It's like if they had as much fun, playing the game and losing, it just says a lot about how our game's coming together. It's a really fun game.
Do you guys want to have more terminals?
We'd love to have as many as we can, but the reality is we're only going to get so much space, and nobody's done PAX South before, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
If League of Legends is there, just kidnap some of their producers and take some of their stuff. I mean, there you go. It works.
That's frowned upon.
Okay. It's not ideal.
That's okay.
Kidnapping. It's that word, kidnapping.
Oh, kidnapping. Yeah, that's
If you
illegal,
don't
isn't it?
kidnap them, if you threaten them with
Coax them out
Feeding
with
them a
candy or
gigantic-
something. Be like, here's some candy. Why don't you guys go out for the next 4.5 days?
I think that would be awesome is if we could get like some of the major players in the esports community development teams together to play a competitive game of Gigantic.
Oh, can you imagine Total Biscuit playing? Oh my god.
Yes.
He's so bad at video games. It would just be fun to watch.
It'd be like watching you play.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the soul hurts.
That's mean.
So
He's cruel.
I am. I'm a jerk. That's why I have
This
the
is
facial hair.
true.
It's,
Yeah,
when I'm clean
Right.
shaven, it's fine.
There you go.
Right
So-
now he's Evil Tim, right?
Evil
so
Tim,
Evil.
it's all about
the
the
base.
goatee. No, the goatee, because you're
man.
evil.
Oh, is that better?
Wow,
I'm
that
dark.
just got really dark really
Yeah.
quick.
I have this awesome Cowboys light sitting next to me.
Okay.
sorry.
Hey, we're 6-1. We beat the Seahawks.
I know. I did not witness the debacle, so for me it didn't happen.
It went like this. We scored more points and then we won.
That's usually how it works.
It was awesome. I cheered.
So you're asking me a question about the things I do.
Yes.
So, as I said, a producer's responsibilities are really broad. So just give you a little sample today. So I ran a couple RT meetings for characters and environment. I'm not telling you what.
You ran
Sorry.
the meetings?
Yeah, we talk about what they're working on,
Oh, because you
what's
don't have
coming
an art
up.
director.
We do not have an art director, but it's a combined team effort. But pretty sure is about the schedule and the plan and kind of those kinds of pieces. I also was editing some actual code in the game.
Ooh.
Yeah, so working on that, writing up some big plans for some higher level policy stuff that we need for kind of long-term outlook for our game and our project. And then having a discussion about user experience flows for how people will come in and out of different parts of the system as they come live. So I kind of go all over the place, talk about the long-term roadmap. I mean, it's the list of stuff that I have in my day is pretty crazy.
Do you get into the
So-
business side?
Sometimes, yeah. Yep, I sure do, depending on how it's going to cross over into the team. If I don't understand how those pieces work, I can't support the team well. And as we try and do technical due diligence or figure out how do we integrate with another system or whatever. So, a lot of the tools we build, especially on the platform side, which I'm also the primary producer, kind of a co-product owner on the platform, which is all the way I describe the platform. A lot of people know what the game is. But the way I describe the platform is that the platform is the plate that holds up the cake. If the platform isn't strong, the cake is just going to fall apart, right? So all the stuff that comes along to support the game, from your account management stuff, your purchasing systems, moderation, chat, all those systems live in the platform. They don't actually live in the game. And so there's one of our teams actually builds that. So I work really closely with the engineers who actually manage all that, stand up the hardware, make sure, like, if you're going to be around on Saturday, the 25th, help us with the stress test, because their goal is to knock over the server if you're in that program. So
like Ola.
Hola.
Not
So
but
yes. So the alpha is about stressing our systems, not just the game, so that when we're ready to open it up and expand to the world, we know that the hardware and the systems we know exactly what's going to happen with them and how they work, and if they're going to fail, what the signs are before they actually get that way, so we know how to keep them up and running for you guys to play as much as you want.
So I had a couple questions. You mentioned roadmap. Are we ever going to see kind of like a roadmap for the game as to like what is going to be planned for the coming year and everything?
Not while we're under NDA phases. Probably not.
Okay.
We definitely will be revealing stuff, but it won't be kind of outward facing in terms of what that schedule looks like.
And then, so since you mentioned the stress test, are you looking for data that is like internet data wise coming through, or are you looking to just crash your servers and be done with it?
We're looking for both.
Okay.
One of the challenges is that we actually do like bot testing and that type of stuff.
Oh wow.
But that doesn't give us the kind of information that people really connected to the internet across the country will do. Because right now we have our data set in one spot, and so it all feeds to one place from lots of different places. And as they go through that process, we're going to learn a lot about how our system responds or doesn't. And right now, this one's really about the game server and making sure the game server will hit the numbers we think it will. We're just not sure yet. So, and then once we get this data, we can optimize the server. But it's also about learning what happens to the rest of the platform when the game server does fail. Right? I mean, so it gives us a lot of really valuable information. So anybody who is in that super secret alpha thing, if you can give us, we don't even need a whole bunch of your time. As long as you show up on time and get there, if we knock it over, we're going to need a certain number of people. And once it's over, then we get to start the hard work of figuring out how to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Also, remember, if any of you guys are in the stress test, don't talk about it on Reddit or IRC, please.
Please.
That's very bad, and you will get in trouble.
So, no, this is one of those streams that we know it's going to fail. We hope it fails. Because if we can make it fail, exactly, that is the goal of the test, is to make it fail so that we know how to make sure it doesn't fail in the future.
So, what was your guys's, if you can't go into this, I completely understand. What was your guys's overall reason for actually doing a legitimate alpha test rather than just making it like a demo? Like, besides the obvious reasons, what was your reasoning behind that? Because a lot of games, a lot of new IPs want as much publicity as possible, where you guys are kind of being that hush hush style of publicity.
I don't know that there was a specific directive or goal with it. It was just like, we are a brand new IP, right? And this game needs good performance in order to play well. And this way we got some very interesting information in the early days when we were just doing some friends and family. The day we actually played the game, we actually called it Not Here, as in from home. It's like the whole point was everybody go home, log on to your real computer and play from Not Here, right? Because in here we have the firewall and all protected IP, and we have direct lines and all. So we wanted to see what would happen when we were playing from Not Here, to get an idea of what our players would face as soon as we actually went out to the world. But it also helps us figure out what kind of questions and things we need to ask ourselves about that process as we add more and more people beyond the firewall, so to speak.
Right.
How was Not Here?
Actually, it was pretty darn good. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't a bad start. And then a very short amount of time after that, we started inviting friends and family because we had proved that we could play it Not Here.
All right, you guys can come in now.
Yeah, and come play. So
very cool.
And now we are, and I know this is probably a question on your minds. Yes, we are actively adding more people to the alpha. We added more today. So if you've got, check your email.
I'll be right back. Excuse me.
Yes, we added more today.
Very cool.
I'm not going to give you numbers, but we are actively adding more.
4 million users added.
Can you tell us?
Please, no, not until after Saturday. No, just kidding. I mean, that's one of the things about this test is that it's going to give us information about how much we have to ramp our hardware in order to support more people in the alpha. So the faster we can get this information. So
now will this information boost the EU alpha test and everything? So I know you guys are just doing it North American and whatever. Are you guys hoping to get more data for that?
Eventually, yes. I mean, right now it is really about North America, and I mean we do have enough information right now that we definitely are seeing some interesting ping times from certain parts of the country.
Interesting.
So as much as we would love to have our EU family in there, the fact that we are learning more and more about our environment and how the game behaves in poor ping, even in the United States, is giving us a lot of work that needs to get done to make sure that when we do expand more, we're going to do it the right way and make sure that that experience really hits the mark.
So if I have dial-up, will I be
Bless you, Joe. Dial-up.
ISDN.
Yes, you'll. God, some people should go to an island in the middle of the Arctic.
The only reason I asked is
It's cold.
a lot of questions on Reddit, and it's like, why am I not in the alpha? When's the EU starting? So I mean, it's nice to hear that you guys are actively pursuing the EU kind of side of things.
Oh yeah.
But the reason that you guys can't do that is because you guys don't have enough data, and a lot of people I think don't understand that. So that clears up some questions. So
I mean, just know that discussing the timeline to EU is part of our regular discussions. It's never part of the plan. It's just when is the right time, because this is a PvP fast action, fast moving game, and if you have a bad ping or bad performance, you're just going to sit there spending your whole time cursing at the screen. That's not fun. You're going to do that anyway when you lose, but still.
Yeah, even if I have good ping, I'm going to do that anyway.
Exactly.
So.
But if you launch a product that's got all those holes in it, it leaves a bad taste in their mouth.
This is one of those things where, even in choosing where our actual data centers live, this has become a really important part of our discussion. We've tried data centers in a number of different parts of the country already as part of the platform testing to see where do we get the best ping times to serve the majority of the United States.
Toledo, Ohio.
No.
Okay.
Not so much.
Dang it.
But, we learn more and more about it all the time. We learn what that does to the servers. We learn what it does to the gameplay. And it's also helping us figure out where we need to monitor to make sure we get that information as quickly as possible when things do degrade.
Okay. So, as a producer, are you part of I don't want to call it swag, but things that people could buy at stores or something like T-shirts and that kind of stuff eventually. Is that, wow.
What was that? What is that, Joe?
See, look at that. I talk about items to purchase, and God's just like, that's a great idea. So has that been discussed? Is that like a long-term goal for you guys?
Well, I don't know the exact outlets for some of those options.
Right.
Oh yeah, we're talking about lots of cool stuff.
Oh, you guys are gonna have an outlet store?
Did I say
Here we
that?
go. Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I heard
I did
outlet.
not. I never said
Excuse me.
outlet and store
I'm
in the
gonna go to
same
Reddit and
sentence.
post that.
Oh, confirmed.
Outlet store confirmed.
You're getting yourself in. So I mean, there's so many opportunities for really cool stuff. It's the wish list is long,
Of course.
so it's just what makes the most sense, and that doesn't bankrupt the company in the process. We have a game to ship, right? At the end of the day, that's our first and most important, is shipping a game that you guys just can't wait to get home. Wait, I shouldn't say get home from work. That you would be tempted to even play at work if you could get away with it. I don't even have to get away with it. I get to play at work. So there.
So let me ask you this question, because we got to wrap up here in just a couple of minutes, because it's that time. But what would you say has been the most rewarding part of your experience at Motiga?
Oh wow.
Deep.
Deep dark.
Besides
secrets?
reconnecting with me, obviously. I mean,
Yes. Well, reconnecting with Troy, because Troy and I work together at Stratix too. So I've been blessed that a number of the people here are actually people who I've crossed paths with in the past at different projects, which is a blessing too.
Worked together before.
What was that?
Everyone's worked together, it seems, before in your company.
The game industry, yeah, or either that, or we're one degree of separation away. We know somebody, we're like forget this. What is this? The 7 degrees of chem breaking.
Yeah.
No, not the game industry. You're one person away from pretty much everybody. But if I had to pick one thing, I think one of the things that impressed me most about Motiga is our CEO's dream for what Motiga will become. He has a very clear vision of that. And as a producer, one of the biggest challenges is, I have a game to ship, but with Chris around, I know that the foundation of Motiga is well cared for, so that's not distracting me, right? I can focus on the game and the project and the people and getting things done. And, and the game industry can be rather iffy sometimes when it comes to funding. I mean, you just never know. If I have friends Kickstarter didn't fund, and so it just happens, right? And so knowing that the studio is well taken care of, the business of Motiga is well taken care of, actually is very comforting.
Mm-hmm.
As a producer. It means I'm not worried about, or sometimes having to pretend that I'm not worried about stuff like that, because Chris has got it. He's got it taken care of, right? So it makes a big difference to my everyday. It allows me to focus on what I need to do to help support the team in the game.
So it sounds like to me, it sounds like the degree of job security is something that's just, it's not even something you think about. It's like breathing.
I don't know. I can't say that. It's a game industry after all.
Well,
you just never know. But the reality is it's not something I put conscious worry into. Mm-hmm. It's not something I come in every day and say, hey, do I get to come back tomorrow? No, it's not something I've been in roles where that was the case, that this is not the case.
See, that's actually really encouraging to me, because a lot of game companies aren't willing to actually say that, or anyone's really allowed to come out and say that. So, working with a company that allows you to say, hey, I feel comfortable because I know our CEO is actually decent and not a complete I mean, that's
I mean, heck, I'm sitting there having Nerf fights with my senior VP, and Chris is there with us on Scotch Fridays, and he is here, he is present, he is part of what we're all in together, and
he starts our fights.
Well, I mean,
which he does if necessary.
Which is why I think you guys will go really far, because you guys have that backbone of transparency, but also letting your community interact with you.
Yeah,
a lot of people can't say that they have that.
And that's one of the blessings I feel working with Chris, is that I know what's going on in the business. And which makes, as you mentioned earlier, you asked me if I worked on business stuff. Yes, I have enough exposure, and sometimes I have direct, interaction about certain things. But knowing where the company stands means that I, as a producer, with my project every day, can make better decisions. Sometimes the right trade-offs to say, hey, all right, well, if we're kind of running hot this month in terms of our budget, okay, I think we can wait for that thing, right? It makes me more empowered to be a better producer and support the team in the right ways at the right time. And it's really amazingly awesome.
So I have two last questions. One is, I'll ask them both and let you answer as you will. One is, what's the most challenging part of being a producer? And two, what is the difference between a senior producer and a producer?
Oh, wow. I only have 3 minutes left,
Hurry.
Tim.
If we can do this
All right.
next Monday when we meet again.
So, okay, let's start with the senior producer first. The idea of a senior producer is that you have a lot more depth of experience in the industry. So, you've been in a number of different, cut it out, Tim. If you were here, I'd slap you. Thank you. Well, virtual internet slaps. So, I have exposure to those kinds of things, to the information about the business and how it's run. I have a lot more influence on how the project comes together, how policies are defined. I have a say in a lot of that. As a producer, you often don't. But one of the things to know is that in this, I scared him away. In this industry,
His senior producer's calling.
in this industry, just the name producer can mean so many different things. And if you asked, like I said, we have 80 people in the studio. If you ask them all to define producer, every one of them will give you a different interpretation of what a producer is, what it does. And sometimes in some companies, a producer is a senior producer. It just depends on the scope of what that version of producer takes on. And it's a really hard one to define. So it's also one of those positions when you can find the right fit, it's a real blessing because, they were looking for some very specific things when I came on board. I've been a live producer. I've been a platform producer. I've been a UX and game UI producer. I have a broad brush of stuff that I've done, which filled in a lot of their needs early. And that's why we had a small production team for so long. It's because I had a lot of expertise in lots of spaces. Right?
So you filled the gap.
What was your other one? It's been a long day.
What's the most challenging part about being a producer?
The most challenging is probably the fact that my days are not predictable. Actually, it's both the most challenging and one of the things I love the most. Every day is different, no matter what. I don't know what's going to land at my feet every day I come in. And so for me, actually, I see myself as a producer, as a facilitator. My job isn't about how much I produce. It's about how much I help my team get done. And the days that I cannot be my best facilitation skill set person are the days that I go home and I'm very unhappy with my day. More often than not, I can tell you, I won't be able to tell you what I got done, but I'll tell you what the team got done. Right? Those are the kind of days that I love, when the team just kicked ass, took names, and got so many. And I'll look at my list and I'll go, hey, I didn't get anything checked off today. But it's because I was doing my job, getting roadblocks and obstacles out of their way to enable them to do their best work.
That's awesome. It's almost empowering to hear, because you never really talk when you do interviews and you talk to game developers. It's always, let me talk to the programmer, the artist, the guy who makes me jump and go bang bang. But it's interesting to know that there's an entire infrastructure hiding behind the scenes that you never really get to talk to or really hear about.
No.
And so I thank you for, obviously for taking your time out to join us. I know you have some more secrets that you want to spill, right?
I do have one more. And I know this is, I'll give you guys one more. And I actually ran this by Troy, so he said I could.
Yeah.
Is that I know a lot of people on the Reddit, yes, I read it. I don't often post, but I do read it, have been wondering about what's going on with matchmaking.
Matchmaker,
And
make me a match.
Exactly. So one of the other aspects of the job that I do is the platform team builds the matchmaking tools. And not long ago, we added a new iteration of matchmaking to the alpha. And so a lot of people are going, what's it doing? Why am I waiting? Right? So it's because there's a matchmaker in there. It's actually starting to, we actually rolled it out, and then we wiped, I know this is crazy, we wiped the data so that we wiped everything we've been collecting. I know this is scary, but that's why it's an alpha, right? We're not going to do that when they go live, but we wanted to see.
Yes, you will.
Not on purpose.
Not unless we absolutely have to. But we purposely wiped all the data so that we could see what happened and how the matchmaking tools actually behaved as people started to get rank, and along with the other things that we match as part of our matchmaking schema. And it's not as simple as just, hey, you are the same skill level as this person. We have other pieces that have to be factored in. And so one of the things that I do often when we're doing our play tests is I sit there and watch what's called the matchmaking queue in the background. So I see everybody come in, and they're sitting in the queue, waiting. And all of a sudden we'll turn on the map, and all of a sudden it'll go whoosh. and everybody will disappear into their matches, right? Because the matchmaking has been like running around there. And the first time after we actually wiped the data and turned it on, a number of the staff had played once or twice before, right? So I had like 60 odd people sitting in the queue, and all of a sudden, all these matches went out, and just like 7 people were left, and it was all the people with high rankings because it meant it worked correctly, and they were all employees sitting there going, "Hey, I didn't get a game," because all the people who hadn't been testing on the alpha build didn't have ranks. It was easy to match them all up because everybody who had rank.
Working as intended.
Now,
Exactly. It was working as intended.
you probably can't answer this, but what is matchmaking based off of? Is it based off of win-loss? Is it based off of like ELO, MMR? Can you answer that yet?
Can't answer that yet.
enough.
But there are definitely a number of aspects to it that are not as clear cut as many player versus player games.
Ooh, I like that answer.
So it makes it very, very challenging and very intriguing to try and figure out the priorities of it. And really thinking through the long term of what it means to be match made into a well-rounded team and, against a well-rounded opponent.
Good. I'm happy to hear that because, man, a lot of MOBAs, because that's the only term that we can categorize it as right now, have awful matchmaking. Like,
Yes.
I'll lose once, then I'll get put down into like people that are trolled and like just feed. I'm just like, really? Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Sounds like my marriage.
Hey!
Don't tell her I said that.
I'm
Oh,
going
shit,
to.
it's on the internet, dude. You're screwed.
Well, listen.
But I mean, just so you know, that is a very, very important part of our game, and that's also what Alpha lets us do. Ask those questions, get those answers, look at the data, figuring out how it's working or not working, and revise it until we feel like we're getting very well-rounded matches, and that we're not having those, one-sided blowout victories that everybody hates.
I mean,
So
if you're on the opposite side of that, you're like, because you're winning.
I don't know
The Seahawks
when I
Cowboys
watch. Oh shush! When I watch two teams who went at it and they get to the end, and I remember 2 of the matches that we did at PAX Prime. One was so close that when they were done, the level of respect for the 2 teams had across the tables was just incredible. They were shaking hands because it was such an awesome, well-matched group, and it was down to slivers.
That's awesome.
It was just the most exciting game, watching who was going to get it, were they going to get it together and make it happen. And that's the kind of moment you live for, right? Those are the ones that are just really cool because nobody felt they lost anything. They lost, but they still won, right?
Mm-hmm.
because
Can
they
you
felt like
feel
they
it?
did their best game.
Is it
could-
is it tangible in the air or palpable?
Oh, totally. It was totally, and watching 10 people, total strangers to each other, shaking hands, congratulating each other, getting together as teams, and be able to make something cool happen. That was really cool.
That's
It was
awesome.
really, very cool.
That's
Well, good.
awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Get shivers.
Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I know you have so many things you need to do. You're probably halfway done with your day at this point, aren't you?
Yeah, probably, but I'm gonna go home and sleep anyway.
Oh, okay. Well,
Caffeine only does so much to keep my day running.
we'll drink more coffee. Drive safe. That's
will do that.
important. But thank you so very much for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully we can do it again.
I hope so. I'm glad you guys invited me to join you. Appreciate it.
What are you
Nice.
doing on
That's
Scotch
awesome.
Friday?
Oh, no.
Drinking rum.
Well, let's do another interview. That'll be great. We'll talk.
I usually, they didn't have rum last Scotch Friday, but I'll have to see. I may have to bring my own libations next time because I just don't do
Rum.
Scotch.
It's like the basic alcohol drink. I mean, pirates drink
Well-
it. I mean, come on.
Pirates drink it.
Dude, we may not have it in the studio. There's quite
Shame on
an eclectric
David.
blend. I just have to remember to bring it on a Friday so that I have it at the end of the day.
Is there liquor
I'll have to
stores
tweet
nearby?
David to remind him to bring some rum then.
I have not explored that. Probably somewhere, but I
I'm
know
gonna
where it is by
send
my
you a
house.
bottle
When
of
it's,
We have a wine or a rum distillery here in town called Wicked Dolphin. I will. I'm in Florida. What do you expect it to be called? It's just
Fair enough.
geriatrics rum. I mean, come on. But what else are you gonna name it?
you're bad.
I'm
you're
terrible.
bad.
Listen, guys, do me a favor out there. Click the follow button on our Twitch. Follow
gang.
at Marizel on Twitter, at GoGigantic on Twitter, at GG_Unleashed on Twitter. Make sure you guys are signed up for the alpha. If you're in the alpha, don't talk about it. That's more, as Troy said, for your protection than anything else. Is you don't want people bugging you and you really kind of spoiling something. What else? Every other Monday night, we have the Gigantic Community Council, which you listened to last week.
I did listen, and it was pretty awesome.
Good.
I did.
I'm
I didn't
glad.
speak, but I was lurking.
Well,
I'm
you
sorry.
guys are welcome all the
You
time.
had to listen to me for 47 minutes talking.
37 minutes and 27 seconds.
37 minutes.
I did.
We might have counted that again and again. But listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Congratulations to everyone at Motiga. You guys
Thank
are
you
doing
so
a
much.
fantastic job, and we look forward to seeing the end game.
Yep. Just stay tuned. It's gonna be awesome. Bye. Take
good
care, you
night, everyone.
guys. Thank you so much. Good night.